Ready.
Megan will also be absent today.
Okay, so this is our crew. Again, apologies for my lateness. Do we have any public comment for items not on the agenda?
Not here.
No one's online. What was that event that you saw? That's on the 9th. Oh, yes, I saw a Front Porch Forum posting. That supposedly the YMCA is hosting a listening session at the library on July 9th from. What time? I can't remember.
It's on Front Porch Forum, I don't know.
It's on
I can
Front
try to
Porch
find
Forum.
it.
I thought it was like from 4:30 to 6:30 or something. But anyway, they're supposedly contemplating opening a Y in Williston
No,
and,
that's not true.
okay, well,
And Ted Kenny said he checked with them
yeah,
because of things Dave Martell had said at that public hearing,
right,
and that they said no.
Yeah.
And so on the Facebook page of Williston Vermont Parents,
yeah,
it's been corrected repeatedly that they are holding things in all related in towns in Chittenden County to
yeah,
help with their long-term planning. They have no intention.
I see,
Any
okay, so
specific-
it's, yeah,
It's just a general
all right,
information session, information gathering session.
good to know, yes. Good to know.
And of course, I'm getting that information from social media too, but one of the pieces of information came from Ted Kenny at the open hearing, so I'm assuming it's there.
I'd call that reasonably,
Yeah.
reasonably secure.
Have confidence, that's useful information. Interesting, amazing, well, let's move on to the minutes.
Wait.
I thought the context on the setback and all that background was nicely put.
Interesting article in the Observer about their plan as well. Kind of cool.
Yeah,
Let's see.
on that, I think it was that article, not this. It said that there was confirmation that the rotary isn't gonna happen. Well, there's confirmation the rotary that was proposed 20 years ago isn't gonna happen. I would certainly hope that it would come up again. As someone who lives where the traffic's backed up every afternoon.
Mhm.
Do we have any comments on the minutes? Or a motion to,
I'll move we accept. I could not find anything I wanted to edit.
I couldn't either. Everything looked good to me.
do we have a second?
I'll say.
Awesome, all in favor? Aye,
I,
that's everyone. Okay. And up next, we have the town plan amendment public hearing.
Yeah, I think I can. I think I can start. I don't know, unless you wanna do the annual. report
Yeah,
first.
let's do the, wait, cause you're gonna jump over in a minute.
Supposedly, like in maybe 5 minutes, I'll jump over, but,
Yeah, I guess we can get
we
going on
we
it.
can start,
Yeah.
So at your suggestion, we passed along our draft amendments to the town plan, that one chapter, land use area descriptions. To the CCRPC for their comment and review, and I guess it's a good thing we did because they had pretty substantive comments, that I'll attempt to summarize, so basically they said we really shouldn't be calling, these areas and sub areas zoning districts. They strongly recommended that we call them future land use areas and sub areas. So I changed the language to reflect that and kind of made up names for these future land use sub areas. And he also said, Taylor said, if you have sub areas, you have to map them. So I created another map with the sub areas that I can share. and then the other comments really related to, they felt that talking about implementation was not as important as talking about the vision for these future land use areas, so in some cases, the language was sort of tweaked to turn the implementation sentences into like more vision sentences, but in some cases, I mean, I think it's sort of maybe a philosophical disagreement, like, I think it's important, and I think, I don't know. I think that this plan is one that really focuses on implementation, so it might be important to still talk about implementation, like, here's the vision. Here's how we plan on working towards that vision, or, you know, how to try to achieve that vision. And,
Do we have the option of doing that if we?
yeah, I mean, I think that was more like a stylistic, sort of disagreement of how it should be written. I don't think there's any harm in leaving it in there, as long as we do have clear vision statements or purpose statements for each land use area. So, I mean, if you want, I can, let's see, was there any other? Oh, yeah, and then, there was some language in the plan that referred to like growth center, so they said, no, that's no longer growth center, it's center or downtown. So they recommended, and you know, this is something that you'll wanna weigh in on, that we call the Taft Corners form, instead of calling it like in this plan, instead of calling it the Taft Corners form-based code district, that we call it the Taft Corners downtown center or downtown area. So I can show you this map. This is, I called it map 2A. And these are the, oh wait, somehow it didn't, okay, we're gonna have to stop and share. Then I do have to go over there, very soon.
Thank you for doing this, Melinda, but does it
Sure.
mean though we have to change every single thing that we have it? Like
No,
all the zoning had to be changed?
No,
or
no,
what?
just in this chapter where you're talking about future land use areas, just refer to them as future land use areas and not zoning districts. So, I have to make this a little bit bigger, but oops. That's what happens. What does that mean? It's like, it's dead.
Yeah, you have to open it up
Right.
again.
Okay, maybe I'll come back to that, but cause I have to go over,
Yeah, do we want to jump over to the,
yeah, I'll jump over there.
to the town annual report?
There should be that.
Have fun with that.
Great,
Did you have a hand in that, Steve?
Hmm?
Did you have a hand in that,
In,
the annual report?
Not yet.
Okay.
Um,
Somebody took some lessons from you.
methinks your standards are a little too low, don't you?
No, it has a nice, it has a narrative feeling, you know, it tells a story.
So Matt did this, he took all of the minutes from the past year and last year's annual report and gave it to Claude, the AI bot.
Who has learned from his writing.
So, good luck with your copyright lawsuit
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
but, this is the first iteration thanks to AI. The plan would be to use this just as a rough jumping off point. Last year, we provided that bullet point list of what we worked on. This one's a little bit more in depth with the list at the end of the things that we went over. So looking for 2 volunteers to work on making this tight 2 pages with a
You're
photo.
looking for 2 volunteers like Steve and who else?
I'm in.
Maybe you? Um,
I'll just delete every other word. It's quick and easy. It's
and the long dashes.
in a long day. Yeah.
Yep.
No, whenever you're ready, just.
Shayla was chair during this year.
Do we wanna,
She could have earned the honor.
you guys wanna volunteer Shayla?
Sure, or I can take a cut at it and then
Okay.
pass it on. That's easy.
Uh,
Same thing we did
you're-
last year, I think.
You're not wanting to jump in, are you? Okay.
no, Steve, I think you did great.
Happy to do it.
I don't know.
Yeah, Emily, if you would just let me know when you're ready and I'll jump on it.
That
Right.
sounds good.
But it's in a,
I thought it was actually a rough draft because it looked pretty nice. It's techie. It has the technical words in it. And on the other hand, if you took those out, it wouldn't be as clear to somebody who understands the technical parts and wants to read this report. It is 2 pages. When we're supposed to be kept to one. And I'm assuming that the list of the dates that we did stuff would go away, that's the prompts. For what's in here,
Yeah, definitely.
all that stuff goes away, but it's still 2 pages. Single spaced.
so I'm sure.
Yeah. Right, so you'll take a first pass at that one ready,
I
and then
absolutely
loop
will.
Shayla in for extra support if needed.
Yes, indeed.
Amazing.
Consider it done.
Was there anything in the draft specifically that you were excited to see, or that you wanted to see, or were like fine to cut, or anything you wanted to?
I thought it was good that it included what's upcoming and that because we're drafting it this early, it's like what happened through June 30th.
Mhm.
And so where it's right on the spot. Unfortunately, people are gonna read this next March and it's gonna seem old. But
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is fun. During some of the library stuff, we were like taking a gander through like the 1960s town report. So it really is nice to have this.
Yeah.
Although it's a funny thing to cut it on the fiscal year, like this nice snapshot of what happened, and then we were also looking for like when the first zoning bylaw was adopted and trying to find that in those old town documents. Never could be 100% certain. We found like a revision that took place 2 years later,
Mm,
I think in 67. And it's interesting. We could also do the list of potential bylaw amendments.
Yeah.
So this week I'm working on getting the FAQ and info page set up and by the end of the week, sending out those abutter mailings to the folks in the neighborhood of North Brownell Industrial Ave. Colin and I did a site visit just to walk around in the area and get a feel for things, which was really helpful. And again, still targeting doing that full month of surveys and a community meeting on August 18th to see what people say. This is that running list of all of the bylaw amendments that we're working towards, and trying to figure out how we're gonna subdivide them into different hearing packages for the fall.
I'm distracted by something you said earlier. Did you say the 66, 68 was the revision to 66 to first zoning in 1966?
65 and then a revision in 67.
Okay,
I believe.
what's interesting about that is the interstate right here opened in 63.
Mhm.
And I'll bet that created pressure for development at the exit. And that's the reason why we have zoning. I'm just guessing that the dates work out just right.
Actually, no, wait, hang on, I misspoke.
Never mind.
Can't rely on my memory anymore. It's getting tough.
Yeah, it's tough getting old, isn't
I
it?
know it is. It really is. And I've only just begun getting old.
Look at this, wow.
So this is 1961 with the 1963 updates. So I wonder too, because they probably were planning.
They were already
doing that
building
same
it. By 61, they
reason.
were building it. My
Yeah.
house was moved back from the Route 2 to make way for a gas station in 57. And almost immediately they had to drill a well. The state had to drill a well, actually the feds at that point, because they wrecked the surface well that was up by the interstate. It was gravity.
Oh, gravity fed? Ah,
Yeah. So people knew the interstate was coming and it was being built in the early 60s, so maybe it was anticipatory zoning.
Ward Johnson, wow.
Yeah, oh, he was so upset that they bifurcated his land, his farm. He was,
Yeah.
to the day he died, he complained about it.
Going back to something you said, Emily, on the amendments, you said you walked the property and that was like really helpful. Did anything stand out to you about things that maybe we missed when we were looking at the overview maps, or that seemed particularly like surprising or that might change how we were thinking of approaching things?
That's a good question. What we did notice. One, just the incredible noise of the traffic and of industrial traffic in particular. But also, it was the industrial vehicles that like so readily stopped for us to cross, whereas like. People driving on their phones would just kind of keep cruising on through. Rosignol Park, I haven't been there frankly in years, and what we found interesting was the ADA parking is over here, because the whole park is sunken down.
Yeah, which gives it some safety from the noise.
Yeah, it does, you don't hear the noise unless you're like right up on the road, which is great. And this is probably less for zoning and more for like the town and Parks and Rec, but the driveway for it is quite hidden and there isn't signage, so we ended up like. Just checking this area out a little bit more, plus peeking through the trees to see the White Cat building. And like it's a very tight visual area to like be coming out through these trees right onto Industrial Ave where the sidewalk is over here. For me, what I noticed was, these properties kind of feel like they're fronting on Industrial Ave with that curve in the road, which is how much pavement there's going on right now. While technically this is South Brownell, it still feels like Industrial Ave.
It does,
This house, it kind of feels like it could go either way.
yes.
And then the larger lot, an interesting thing is last week. Someone in the real estate industry asked us about that property, I think on behalf of the owners of the husband and wife couple that have owned this property for a really, really long time. The husband passed away last fall, so I'm wondering if they're thinking about what's going on there.
And it's the piece that you've got highlighted right now,
No, that's this larger lot.
the
with
larger one, okay,
With the trucking
yeah.
use on it, and there's like a playground equipment thing
It goes
here.
narrowly way down to the east.
Mhm. Yeah,
This was the lot that was mostly in question for us on how we would handle it, right?
the lot in question is the roadside motorsports. Yeah, which.
That was the one that triggered everything.
Mhm.
Triggered, okay.
Yeah, and that was the other thing that we noticed that you don't really get a sense from just the map is how close it is to the Brook's Edge, because it pretty much is pavement and then it drops right off into it.
Yes, and the town owns that triangle, or that sort of triangle there.
Yes.
Wonder if the town wants to obtain that one as a buffer between commercial and residential and have it be some sort of a park feature
Mhm.
complementing the playing fields at Rossignol Park, but just walking trails or something.
Yeah, and I would be curious to see too, like this lot is 7.7 acres, so we've done a lot of changes to zoning recently, like what would happen if that was redeveloped residentially?
Well, there's
You
a
could do
bunch of it
40
that's too
units
close to the
single
brook.
access.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yes,
Interesting.
Yeah,
it could be like what's across the brook, where you have a long property, but your house is away from the. Although the people in Lamplight would holy murder if somebody built the house right at their fence that they've had against trees.
yeah. Cool.
Cool. Was there anything else in the list of potential amendments that we wanted to call out or go over? It sounds like it's something you're still working, you're massaging. Thank you for all of your.
Yeah, right now I'm really just massaging to make sure that the FAQ and the survey questions that go out are gonna lead to a productive conversation. Where the neighbors feel heard and also informed.
Sounds good. And I just lost the rest of my agenda. And I know there were other things.
Yeah, if you, planning commission FY 27 work plan seems to only have on it the things related to these bylaw changes. Is that true?
Say that again, Jake.
Oh, you can-
This is all related to, it seemed like it's all related to bylaw changes. I didn't know if there are other things that are supposed to be on our agenda other than bylaw changes.
Yeah, and I don't even think this work plan has what we've talked about.
Not exactly.
Like of this special zoning
I
district.
think
Really.
Shayla asked for it at our last meeting.
Yes,
And it has a lot of things that staff are doing, and it's all about bylaws, and I think she might have meant something more comprehensive.
yeah,
Mhm,
Okay. So that's my feedback, yes.
mhm.
yeah.
It's, what's in it's great. Sorry, hung up.
We're jumping because we got our agenda mixed up with Melinda going, so we're now
That's
looking
okay.
at our work plan. And, do you, I know we have from the other minutes, things that we've talked about, but is there any feedback on, any feedback from the commission on things we want to see added? Is this the time for that? Or are we just compiling it so that we know and we know we get all of our dotted our i's and cross our t's when the time comes?
Yeah, so that does remind me of something that would be good to add to this list and. I can jump into it on the editable side. The Rec and Parks Master Plan
Yeah.
just came out. I was thinking so the rec committee doesn't meet in the summertime. When I went to meet with them with the town plan process, they seemed keen on having a joint meeting with the planning commission. So their first meetings, they meet on Thursdays, would be Thursday, September 10th. So maybe we could see if we could be on one of their agendas or if they wanted to come to you guys on September 15th. Talk about the rec master plan, talk about the parallels of the town plan. I think the goal is to have it adopted as an appendix to the town plan, so I'm not sure where that would be in the process. But I think, talking more comprehensively about the work plan is getting you guys more face time with the Rec and Parks Committee, maybe some face time with the DAML trustees about where all of these various goals and projects dovetail together.
That's good.
Mhm.
I haven't read it. I know it's available somewhere, the new rec map. I did go to some of the charrettes and stuff. I'm aware of the things they were considering. But I think it was on the select board's agenda their previous meeting. Do you know if the select board had any direction about it?
I don't, yeah, it was the. And what was really nice is they reached out about using the same fonts and colors as the town plan, so even though it looks very different. It's still sharing that unified theme.
Yeah.
What I liked is, and the only thing I've really looked at is their design for the Glazer property. For the Overlook Park. Captured the intent of the specific
Mhm.
plan. So there's the 2 acre building well, obviously their parking lot layout probably could be shifted, but, they show a parking lot, number 4, community gardens, overlook pavilion, accessible walkway. And then walking trails, throughout the area.
I had submitted to them a suggestion that a dog park be across the street from that, across Mountain View, where the town owns the land in front of the new water tower. Did they do anything about that?
Let's see. The dog park.
I figured if it went in before houses are occupied in the Glacier property, then the Glacier property owners won't say, oh, not in my backyard.
So community park workshop design. Brennan Community Park, maybe the dog park, Rosignol. Well, I guess it's just where people,
Just. Do they have a map of the things around town that shows just, I'll
Yeah.
look it up.
facilities and that analysis, so yeah, there are national metrics. For performances of how many
Yeah, so we need a dog park.
people
it says.
we needed. Dog park.
Great, so we'll have them. We'll have like a collaborative meeting with them and kind of go over and see how we work that in and.
Yeah, I figured I was like, I should probably reach out to the rec director after the July 4th parade, because that's kind of his. Town meeting of the year is coordinating all those events.
Good.
Yeah, it looks like dog park, the most frequently requested
Mhm.
addition.
It really is. It looks like the other thing that we have on the agenda is the Williston Road multimodal scoping study.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's also a Melinda topic.
Melinda, okay.
And there would be,
And I'm guessing that as that is considered, we may be involved in intermediate steps. And as a, for instance, I volunteered to talk to the homeowners association at the Commons. So I know I have 3 friends who live there. One doesn't want it, one would love it, and one I don't know. But I and the one who, yeah, the one who wants it is renting, not owning, even though she's been there for years.
Mhm.
But anyway, I have volunteered to talk with that committee, the HOA. Assuming that the southern, which is the preferred route according to the analysis, happens, is preferred and slightly more expensive. But it has less impact on, if I recall, on wetlands, less close to the, doesn't affect the fire station.
Fire station, yeah.
And it, but yeah, there were not, there was no, it wasn't a clear winner, but it was the one that they were leaning towards.
Do you have any sense of what the main, for the person who doesn't want it at the HOA, like what the main point of resistance is, just that it's going through their backyard or?
That person actually said, well, I don't think we need a right path to the town. So that the state put in the bike lane. I said, I'm not taking my grandson on that bike lane. And people who don't have a car down there may want a bicycle or walk up to take their dog license or something. And so she had a different view. She just didn't think it was a good idea. What I've known from the past is that people are afraid about vagrancy and kids hanging out and doing drugs and things like that. And when the rec park went in, when the rec path went in from Old Stage Road to, there's that long fence that's separating them from the South View development, which isn't being maintained. That was to satisfy those people that it would not adversely affect them. And I think the people who live there now use the rec path all the time and are glad it's there and probably wouldn't require a fence if it were put in now, but the idea of it is hard for people.
I found it interesting that I don't know if these things are in chronological order, the next steps thing. I found it interesting that coordination with V-Trans came before landowner engagement, because I would think that the landowner engagement piece would be the showstopper, potentially. That's a question, that's not us.
Eminent domain.
Statement, yeah, well, that's, and of course, that's the first thing that popped into my head was I wasn't sure what that looks like.
Well, and the thing about the south side is that there's one house that's fairly close to it, but on the north side, there's 1 or 2 right on the corner by Timothy Ware that it would really cut into their small front yard.
Yeah, I think the V-Trans coordination, landowners is much more direct. V-Trans, making sure that we're getting meetings with the right people lined up, it can just be a much longer timeline, so I think getting that one kicked off sooner. Most likely both of the, and we probably want to coordinate with V-Trans on how that landowner engagement should go. But certainly, I think those two would be kind of working side by side.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay.
My brain goes on to the next level of detail, which is it, assuming it is on the south side and it comes up the hill behind the commons. It would make a zigzag there. I pose this being a question mark. You go up and then go like this. So you basically form a question mark from the bottom going up the hill. The bottom of it being right when there's a fire hydrant at the bottom of the hill where there's three houses that are way back from the road. But, what I go to is that it still will be fairly steep and I wouldn't want the two lanes without a divider. And so I actually would propose that it be divided bikeway at that, in the hill. For safety. But that's me going to the next level of detail.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even the village path, though it's flat and visible, sometimes they can be so busy where it's like,
Yeah.
guys, remember on the road, like.
Yes.
Walk
We
on
have
certain
to-
sides, aside.
Supposed to stay on the right, yes.
Yeah, I mean, the little types on their little tricycles, they kind of get a free pass, but like when you have like a group of like 3 or 4 and you have to like kind of meander around them, it can be a
And the
lot.
people over here, the dogs over there, and the leashes between.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Melinda.
Hi, sorry, it was,
All
How
good,
was it?
all good.
Great timing. How was it?
a lot of someone talking, but other than that, it was okay.
You know, most meetings.
So we did work plan stuff, an annual report, and we're kind of jumping into the. Scoping study.
Oh, okay, yeah. Did you, yeah, you went over the memorandum, yeah,
Not really,
No.
we just kind of dove right in
Okay.
to thoughts and feedback, so if you wanna kick it off.
yeah, sure, so. So we did the additional scoping and natural resources scoping, and that added a little bit more clarity and detail to. How, to costs and how many wetlands, whatever, wetland impact, et cetera. But there's still a lot of unknowns and, it's really, now the challenge is just getting the select board to choose an alternative and. So what staff is recommending is that. The alternative be the one on the south side that's off-road. And it is the most expensive one, and there is a mistake in that table, it's not 5.2 million, it's 5.7 million. And they corrected it, but I haven't had time to. So it is the most expensive one, but it satisfies all the town, the town plan goals of. Related to the path, and it is the. We think it's the best one, best alternative,
And it sounded like a lot of that 5.7 would be defrayed by grants.
Well,
and such.
so that 5.7 is not what the town pays, the town pays 20% of that. If it's, usually these are funded through federal grants or state grants. And it's 80% paid and 20%, the town pays for. We also, read through the current transportation impact study, and this is a project that's on the impact fee. On the, list of impact fee eligible projects, and they've allocated $100,000 for, preliminary plans and permitting, I think that's what it is, so. So we'd like to recommend that the select board choose an alternative and then go ahead with those, spend that money. Because the town needs to spend its impact fee money. To do, preliminary plans and start keeping moving forward. So,
That's why it was collected.
yes, exactly.
Is there a spending deadline on that money?
Well, like yesterday, I mean, the town should be spending their money and isn't really spending their money, so, this is. It seems like a very good use.
Yeah. And I would just like that this proposal and that cost is just to, the Commons Road, Old Stage Road.
Right. And it
Does
doesn't,
not include going to the village, which we would
Right.
like to see happen.
And that I think is an additional, well, I should say that the section of sidewalk that is not, done at all, there's no sidewalk at all, it's like 1.5 million. And then, turning that, sidewalk into a path would be more, an additional amount of money. And that can be, that can at least be flagged and, in the, bike ped master plan as a priority.
And if the town decides to take over Route 2 through the village, or if there's a push and grants or something to bury utilities, or if any of the things that want to be changed in the village come up, it would be wonderful, it could be bundled, and I'm fine with it being a future project to be bundled with other work. If that's the way it is, just to get from tap quarters to here is huge.
Yep.
Are there, I guess I have two questions. One is, has the federal funding environment changed for that 80-20 split? And two, do you anticipate the select board wanting a different preferred alternative or wanting, and because one of them is no build at all, like,
Yeah.
where do you anticipate their sentiment, if you have a sense?
I don't know,
Fair.
I really don't, and,
Their history, such as what they did with the parking lot, was to pull things out of existing pools of money and not put something in front of the voters for a bond.
right.
And the library experience may keep them in that mode.
That, yeah, it's possible,
Since there is money,
yeah.
they may,
And as far as the federal funding goes, certainly this administration has prioritized, different things. But that federal funding is still available, it would most likely be, well, it would be either the bike and pedestrian program or the transportation alternatives, program, and those are still two available pots of money.
Great, still exists to be applied for and used for matching, and
Yeah.
they haven't been.
Yes, yeah.
Is there any feedback from the planning commission on the report, or any feedback from the planning commission that you would want before going to the select board?
Just, are you, how do you feel about this alternative or this recommendation? And would you do anything differently?
from this layperson's perspective, I would have gone the same way. Just looking at it as a layperson, avoiding Allenbrook, avoiding those couple houses that are so close to the road at opposite Timothy Way. But I do know that the fire hydrants are on that side, and so there's that infrastructure, but we're talking about separate from the road.
Yeah.
Right? And so they would be the other side of the fire hydrants, who wouldn't be disrupting a fire hydrant is my guess.
Yeah, I mean,
In the table listed as the 7 fire hydrant or whatever, I
Yes.
don't know what other.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean, it's sort of like, yeah, it's sort of to be determined, like
Yeah.
right now, it's just really conceptual and
Yes,
obviously, like, once preliminary plans get
yes.
completed, then it'll be, it'll get more and more refined, the location, so.
I think what we should do is that we should proceed ahead, right? Do more further study, and this is not like, you must spend the rest of the day, right? We should let it
Yeah.
move along, that's
Yeah.
like something we should. That's these are available for us to use.
I shared when you weren't here that I had volunteered before and still would to speak with the homeowners association at the Commons. I have 3 friends who live there. One is against the idea of it, one is for it, and one I don't know. But I would be happy to talk with them.
Yeah, that's good, and obviously, as this project progresses, there will be a lot of landowner outreach, not just for folks where we're asking for right of way, but just for everybody along that corridor, just to keep them informed and continue to get input and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the traffic will have some impact.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the only comment I was gonna make was reading through this, including all the various alternatives and the comparisons on the matrix. I think you picked the right choice. I personally, I think you picked the right choice. None of them are perfect because as you pointed out, there are bridges involved and there are multiple small waterways that have to be crossed. And then the Allen Brook is on the other side, so none of them is gonna be perfect, but I think this is probably the best choice among
Mhm.
the various ones that we had.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and the impact of going behind the church.
Oh, that would.
yeah, that didn't really seem feasible in my
I thought that
opinion.
one was still gonna go in front of the church, but apparently that was ruled out.
Yeah. I don't know, I think as far as an off-road alternative, that seems the least feasible, because it, you know, they're switchbacking across church property and. You know, it could be. Very challenging to get permission from that, from a church to like. Do all of that.
Yeah.
Um.
Okay.
I was skimming through the plan or like when I was reading through all the alternatives, I didn't see a map. Was there a map somewhere that I missed that had all of the alternatives stacked on top of each other? Or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just to like compare for real. Okay, cool. I think the only other thought I had on it is I know we talked about the 10-foot width when it came up, and I know it's like very standard. Is there any thought that it feels like really big? Like I know it's like a very standard path. It's
Yeah.
the standard path
Yeah.
size. It's like, but it's like a road. And I don't know if anyone else has any hesitancies around that, and also, if it's the standard, there's probably
Yeah.
very little
Yeah.
that can be done to be like, we could do something smaller.
What's the width of the right path in the village?
8 or 10.
Yeah,
Maybe 10.
Is it 10?
I think that the width, part of the reason to make it so wide is for plowing, but.
But to be able to run a pickup truck down it, it's
Yeah.
a cheap way to plow it compared to.
Like a sidewalk plow, yeah.
But the other thing is like, if, when the town pursues federal grants, their standards have to be adhered to. Accessibility standards have to be adhered to as well, so.
And I just for safety, kids wandering on tricycles and bicycle
Yeah.
and dog leashes stretching across to the other side, I. would
People walking
hesitate
five
to-
abreast,
By what?
people walking five abreast. with on-
We walking five abreast or people trying to pick the parsnips that are hanging over the path.
Yeah.
Is it 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, okay. 10 feels wide in my brain, but I guess that makes sense, and it is obviously the standard, so,
It's a
cool.
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, how wide is this table? Might help us. I'm all for that. Yeah, I'm wondering, like, the point on. Does this feel like a really strong pitch to the select board? Because if you just look through the table. Like numerically, A1 and A2 sometimes make more sense. It's like, well, your sum of wetlands is less. Your street crossings could be less, your hydrant impact could be less, so I'm wondering. Making the pitch that, impacting those two homes on. Route 2 is basically a non-starter,
And the fire
and the fire
station.
station is a non-starter.
Yeah, I was gonna say that on the north side, maybe I'm imagining this, but it seems to me, I'm thinking about riding along that area now. It seems to me that there are a lot more busy crossings on the north side, more commercial, maybe the wrong word, but more heavily trafficked, like Old Stage Road and the fire station and some of those more.
Talcott Road.
Yeah, some of those heavily trafficked residential streets, whereas the other side, there are some, but it just seems like they're not quite as many cars turning on that side that could pose a problem for people.
And I also just realized the distance of this 2B is the shortest between
Yes.
house and. So that's also should.
500 feet shorter than the,
That's actually not right either.
No.
Okay.
I questioned that, so I asked the consultant, hey, how come this, this looks kind of strange, and so it was a miscalculation. It's actually longer, it's actually more expensive. So, yeah,
interesting, okay.
and I will put in the corrected pages attached to this memo.
I didn't know what the wetland advisory was because the actual wetlands and buffers was less on the south side, but.
Right, the wetland advisory is like where they think there might be wetlands,
Well, I see.
but. I mean, they went out and they did a windshield survey. So, you know, I mean, it wasn't a delineation, but like it's
Yeah.
more than just looking at the map. So, I mean, there is a kind of a big question mark about wetlands and. There will be until you really start
Oh.
getting into it,
And I get the root singing is supposed to be roosting,
roosting.
not root singing. It says presence of potential that
Root
root sing.
Okay, yeah.
And I was telling you, what kind of tree is that?
I'm wondering, is there another alternative, like say if there wasn't buy-in from the commons? But you got buy-in from the church to switch back on the church property? Like, could it cross at Southridge?
Yeah,
And be north side and then at Southridge be south side?
I mean, that's not all that desirable because it, you know, because then it sort of defeats the purpose of having, you know, because then people have to cross the road. It's like,
The other thing about south side is in the long run, if we're making a pedestrian way for people in our growth center. To get to the town hall for a dog license or to the library. Actually, the library's the other side, but there's a crosswalk up here, but I was thinking town hall's nice, never mind. Cause once they get up that far, there's crossing anyway.
Does the select board have time on their schedule or a meeting scheduled where this is coming up on their agenda?
not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so I really don't know when they're actually gonna, I mean. If you're okay with you know, with passing the baton, then I'll let Eric know. But then it has to get scheduled on the
Yeah,
agenda.
this has been done for too long, right? We should move along if we have necessary things on it.
Mm.
Because even when we study, it could have been another 2-3 years and they happen.
Yeah, I mean, the planning, it can take a long time.
Yeah,
If we're looking at the detail numbers, I didn't understand also under constructability. Proposed bridges, 0 on the south side, it has to cross all the same streams that the north side has to cross.
Yeah, I know there are bridges on the south side. Are you talking about?
Under constructability, page 63.
Proposed bridges, 0 on the north side.
Yeah, I just don't understand how you could have 0 when you have, or maybe they're thinking it's culverts,
I was gonna say maybe it's very,
but then why do we have
No,
under
it-
10 feet?
It is bridges, yeah, yeah,
It didn't seem right to me that it was that different one side or the other. In fact, the south side has more drop off. That you'd have to,
well, the south side is where the bridges are. It's the north side that where they said there's 0 bridges. But they're
that's what I'm saying, but I don't understand that. I would think that need to be more because there's so much drop off that you would need to raise it. Some places like
On the north.
on the north side.
Yeah.
Look at like between one end of Talcott Road and the other end of Talcott Road. It goes right down to the floodplain,
I'm just
so
gonna
it's got to be elevated all along there if it's on the north side.
and this is. Yeah, I mean, take a look at the. Appendices, there's like, they have maps of all of these,
Yeah, so right there where your pointer is, that's a place that's a huge drop off on the north side. You still have to bridge over that stream. Right there on the south side, if that stream continues and that's floodplain on the north side that you'd have to somehow get above.
yeah, they don't have any. They don't have any bridges. Don't know why.
Yeah, so I question it.
Mm,
Because when I look at it, it looked like it would probably be cheaper to go on the south side,
uh,
but I'm just a layperson and there certainly were considerations in this document that I didn't consider, I didn't know we had.
Or is it this?
but look on the other
Is
side.
this what has to get bridged over?
Well,
Yeah,
that does have to get, or culvertized. But it continues on the other side too, does not? I mean, it has to. Yeah,
hang on.
doesn't disappear. It may be that it's culverted all the way to the brook. I don't know.
I bet you. It is because of the farmland in Southridge Road. I bet they culverted it and they put in Southridge.
That's a very small one too. I mean, I'm assuming that would be a culvert, not a bridge, but I don't
Well,
know.
they said 110 linear feet of bridge would be
Yeah.
proposed, so what's the measure, what's the distance of this? Guardrail? That's 85 feet, so like a bridge of one
See,
end
it's a
there,
one bridge,
maybe?
could be.
The primary cost differential is the requirement of a bridge on the south side to span a perennial stream and wetlands.
It's right, by the Mahan. Farm, that big ditch that's between that and
Yeah.
the Vermont Gas.
Oh, okay,
Where
that,
That one definitely, that one's even bigger on the north side. That's very okay.
Let's see.
Keep going,
this one,
keep going.
this one,
Right there.
Yeah, that
Right there. That one's gonna need, it probably wants a bridge because there's such a dip on both sides. It's not just a stream. But on the other side, it drops right off into floodplain. So. I don't know.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, there it is. I do think it makes sense to have a bridge, not just a culvert through there because of how much dip there is in the land. But if you turn around, how can you switch seasons? That's neat. But if you turn around and look the other way, it drops right off to floodplain. And there's the same stream there. And so they would have to, I would assume they'd have to raise it all the way through there, whereas in here, they just have to raise it for that U shape. Or they
Yeah.
probably could culvert it and just fill to the culvert.
Maybe that's, I don't know,
That's what engineers are for.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. The bottom line for me is it seemed like they made the right choice based on a layperson's observations.
Mhm.
you know, this is the one where there's that little waterfall in the. I don't know if you ever.
In the farm
seen it,
field out
in that
there?
farm
Yes.
field.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yes,
Know that.
it's definitely wetland along there,
Yeah, I mean,
and it is on the other side too.
Is there anything we can do to make this like an easier, like the next step easier for the select board, or like the next step more obvious, you know? Like Mickey was saying, we've done a lot of studies, there will probably need to be more, like, there's obviously still things that we're not certain about. What, is this a bridge here, why is it here, not there, that were, considered, but is there anything we can do to make it keep moving?
well, I mean, like I said, just, using the money that the town has allocated for the next step, which is preliminary plans.
Yeah.
Because we have the money to do that. We don't need a grant.
Mm-hmm.
We have the money. We should be spending that money. That would be,
Your navigation, Emily's great, the mapping stuff. That one just looks like a small culvert to me. It's not a small culvert mean. I love switching the season of the satellite photo.
It's very cool.
Yeah, so this is where Southridge is now. Or where the entrance to Southridge is.
Yeah.
So we've got the Catholic churches here.
I can't see your pointer, but it's at the left, very left.
Yeah.
Right. wait a minute, no, I'm mixed up here.
Yeah,
I was upside down, yeah, there you go.
Catholic Church, this is where Churchview Estate says.
Yeah.
That this is where Southridge Road comes in. That's one of those two houses that's
They're
super
so close.
close. Timothy Way is like somewhere over here.
And there's one across from them that's fairly close, but not near, not as close.
Mhm.
And you know, this is that farm. It's on a bit of a knoll,
Yeah.
and this. This is an old map.
This is
Yes.
1962.
Yeah.
This still
What
happened
happened to my house?
farm here. And this is the Mayhem farm over here,
Yeah,
and this is where Dave's Automotive is, where I used to take my car and eat together.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Small vestige of it's still
Yes, some cement.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah, I mean, I just think. I don't know if there's any like more, persuasive way to say this,
Yeah.
but just like. It, you know, there's still a lot of unknowns, but you need to make a choice. And make a choice based on like what's gonna be best, you know, what's gonna suit the needs best.
I don't know, Mickey, and I don't know if you have ideas, but we sort of have two that we are supporting what staff have recommended. Would it help to say that planning commission supports or is mixed on?
I think the southern route makes the most sense also.
We shall proceed with this, but the thing though is that when we say this, then when they do more detailed analysis for next step, are they only going through this or they're gonna look one more?
No, they would probably continue along the path that was selected.
Yeah, I
That's my
mean,
question.
They wouldn't be go along and doing more engineering on both of them unless we said
No.
what decide.
No,
no, just the one that's
Okay.
why, like, because. From now on, it's gonna be significantly more money to do the engineering and the planning. So you wanna have a defined path of where you're.
Yeah, and I think one of the critical things also is the fact that the chosen, the one that you're recommending. Speaks to everyone. In other words, it's not only multimodal, it's also abled, if you will. You know, we're looking for the one that's gonna have the least amount of elevation that we have to deal with and so on, so. I think that speaks pretty strongly to the use case.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, my only concern is more towards. Even with this, right, we're making based on face value or whatever is in front of us. Are we sure though there are any misassumption or anything?
No, we're not sure.
That's where my
Yeah,
worry
but,
is, right?
but the other thing for me is, taking into account crossing Talcott Road, crossing in front of the fire station. And crossing Southridge are much riskier crossings than crossing Timothy Way.
Yes,
Which is the only road crossing or business crossing on the south side. So to me, there's other factors that aren't in here, which is why I feel like from a layperson, they made a good decision, but I can't say that there's not something that we don't know.
but that's where the engineering study will come in and they'll identify any areas that are non-starters. So,
We could add to our recommendation that we especially like avoiding Talcott Road and the fire station interruption.
Yeah, and those two houses, like, so the precedent with the
Yes.
Mountain View Road scoping study was. It was those neighbors close to the road that were most vocal, even though the preferred alternative was to do the off-road path. So I think to the select board saying that you're avoiding these two homes on the north side. Like
Yes.
that's gonna be a winning pitch for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like calling out the like, basically the things that most influence the decision, like. Are the fact that there are the two houses on the side of the road and multiple crossings back and forth. Make the South Road. Like, really the most. Compelling and kind of like highlighting those things up front.
Yeah,
You can get lost in numbers around like, this
sure.
many linear feet of bridge and this is the cost, but like. If we're really not gonna go right in front of someone's, like, go right through someone's front yard.
Yeah,
We're
so.
not gonna do that.
Yeah, I there is a note that it doesn't conflict with the fire station, but I could add the 2 homes, and I could add a bullet of. It avoids multiple crossings on the north side, or there's only one crossing on the south side, and it's,
Okay.
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
I think it's pretty compelling.
But to Mickey's point on the like, well, is there, I guess if they do approve this study, it would be like, okay, let's focus and try to surface is there a big gotcha that we somehow missed? And, but that's kind of like they need to approve, we should do a study first, so.
But the only thing that what I'm trying to articulate is. What likely to happen with that based on all this, on the surface consideration, look like this is the right path. But when we go and do engineering study, we probably might need twice the length of the bridge or whatever, those things will pop up, right?
Yeah,
And then the whole cost will escalate to the
Mm.
point that
yes.
it might not be feasible. That's my only
Yeah.
concern that I'm just talking about.
Yeah,
Other thing I worry about is along here where it drops off to the floodplain and along here. Where it drops off to the floodplain. If there were a big flooding event in the future, it could
mhm,
erode the rec path, where if it's on this side. it's
right.
Much
Maybe
more
those are the things that we go.
sustainable,
Yeah.
whatever the word is.
Mhm. That's true, yeah, I mean, there are unknowns and the costs will probably rise, but like. Towns do this kind of stuff,
Yes.
they get this stuff done and.
Yeah.
The town and
No, we're too much of, that's for sure. No
Yeah.
question asked.
Yeah, march towards the south,
yeah,
alternative.
Yep,
Okay.
let's go.
Right.
okay.
Jayden, you wanna hit the lights behind me, please?
And we kind of got cut off a bit when we were going over draft land use areas, Melinda.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Is
sorry.
there
That's the
anything?
last thing.
Yeah, that's the last thing that we have to go over, but is there?
Sure, do
Do you
you,
wanna pull up the map? Yeah, I think that was the place we were at.
Yes, and then Adobe crashed and Melinda had to leave.
yeah,
We'll bring that
Okay.
up. I forgot about zone down on that, you're right.
oh, here we go, great, perfect.
Zone down, no pun intended.
As a question, was there a preference towards changing the language away from zoning and into these like areas and sub areas? Kind of related to the language of like tier 1A status and designating these land use area maps, like for the whole state, is it kind of tied into the same effort, or do they just? Zoning districts are out?
It doesn't so much relate to tier 1A and tier 1B, although I can explain when I pull the maps up, but. I think it was really, a distinction being made, like. So this is a plan, a town plan versus like your zoning bylaw. So in your town plan, when you're talking about, I mean, I don't know how to say this, just. You have to make a real distinction that you're not talking about zoning, like you might have in your implementation measures. They might relate to zoning. But when you're talking about the land use areas, you're not speaking to the zoning districts, you're saying. These are areas that we have, goals for in the future and, so you wanna really separate it from. Like your zoning bylaw, I guess.
It is the thought that zoning might not exactly follow.
They might not exactly
Yeah.
follow those lines,
I guess
And-
it's the plan to. In the future, you could change your zoning to reflect what is in the plan and
Mhm.
keeping it tied to the zoning, does that make sense?
yeah, I guess, I mean. So some towns have actually, and let me just share this, I think it'll make more sense if I share, Right. My Adobe, let's try to do this, So. This was the additional map that I did, the future land use sub areas, which really correspond to our zoning districts. Some towns have done this using fuzzy boundaries. like I think South Burlington showed their future land use areas using fuzzy boundaries. So that, you know, they're not tied to these like distinct lines, the lines can move a little bit. I didn't do that, but rather, so basically I came up with different names for these areas, see if I can make this video. So like instead of saying their zoning districts, I just called like the gateways, Gateway South, Gateway North, and Gateway West. Industrial East, Industrial West. Midway Residential, Half Corners Downtown, Mixed Use Commercial, Residential, Rural Residential, and Village. Yeah. Makes sense, and then the hatched area here. That is, the planned growth area. So that's actually in the regional land use map as a planned growth
It's
area.
also the sewer service area.
And
pretty
it's
much.
a happens to be a sewer service area, sort of, except
Yeah,
the sewer service area
Almost.
covers, industrial.
yes,
As well.
and it goes up to Porterwood and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
So. Yeah, so basically, these are like the sub future land use areas. And. The other, land use. Okay, so this was the original land use. Future land use area map, only, the Taft Corners form-based code was a different color and that. So I made the mixed use areas all one color. But then in the sub areas, they're different colors. So this just has the mixed use areas. Industrial areas, residential, village and rural residential. This being the land use areas, and then. If you want to look at the text, I can kind of go through that. Oh,
I think we don't wanna see the next map,
the what's that?
the next map. Is it this one? Maybe it is this one, when I looked,
This-
it made sense.
Okay, this is the sub area one. And this is the,
Okay, so it's just those two,
yeah,
okay.
I feel like this is kind of similar to what we got ding dong with the village bylaw, like
oh, really,
the National Register Historic District is its own thing, its own designation, and so. We have historic protections through our zoning for the village, but it's called the Williston Village Historic Overlay. It's the same district boundaries, but making it clear that. The national is the national and the town zoning is the town zoning, even though they're. Colloquially the same thing. So I think similarly, the bylaw is the bylaw, the town plan is the town plan, this is loftier, more visioning. Even though these maps, dovetail with the zoning district boundaries.
yeah.
Mm.
It's a little,
I read the text that was added, I was okay with it. It's- Of course, I didn't go through it with a fine tooth comb and there's a lot in there, but. It made sense to me.
Mhm.
Actually, was none of that language, it's all new on the document, but was none of that language there?
In,
Or was it there in other sections?
it's there in sort of. In pieces, so this is really like a compilation of what's in
Yeah.
other sections, kind of, and.
Can you share that?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Hold on.
Are we recording?
Yes,
Okay,
as far as I know,
realize I didn't see what you say.
Yes, we are. And Smart Companion is on.
Okay. Where am I here? Not that one, this one?
What are you trying to share?
I'm trying, oh, wait, maybe it's on the bottom, trying to share the, oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah, so this whole section was new, but it was a compilation of
Yeah.
what's in other
The
chapters.
text was all familiar, but it's
Yeah.
all showing as new here.
Yeah. And then, again. They, yeah, there's a purpose statement. And then there's some implementation in there. So I didn't cut out as much as was recommended, like they said, all this implementation language can just come out. But I don't know, it's like.
I thought this captured,
I think it provides context, I like it.
We liked it there, yeah.
And then this is just basically goes through some of these sub areas.
and I was guessing that some of the colorful stuff was revisions to the new language.
Yeah, those are revisions by CCRPC.
Yeah. So,
And they made. And some of the implementation language was kind of cut out, but then condensed as the green text, just saying. This is a priority, this is, working towards this is a priority. And then. Stuff. And that's basically it.
yeah,
Yeah, any further comments from the commission?
Oh, man,
I think it looks good. What do you need? From us?
So, we, need you to authorize staff to warn a public hearing.
oh, that's
I
right.
think that's,
And you proposed a date too.
August 18th.
Okay,
Giving, a month and a week or so.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
is it just these changes or do we have something else coming up?
It's just these changes.
So maybe this would be a good time to put something in about chickens.
But same night we
That can come up.
the bylaw community meeting, so we'll just schedule
Right.
a time.
Accordingly, yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, if you went through the draft work plan, it's kind of an aggressive schedule, but. Let's see.
Oh, because this is the town plan, not the,
Yeah.
It's not gonna
Yeah.
double up,
yeah,
right? Do you
Yeah.
need an official motion?
Sure.
Do I have a motion to
yes,
warn a
motion,
public hearing?
motion that staff warn a public hearing on this.
Second. Cool. Chapin has given her second.
oh, I was deferring to Mickey because I gave a second before I thought.
Mickey says yes.
Ricky and Chapin in stereo.
So is it Mickey second?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
and vote.
Oh, all in favor?
I,
Unanimous, all four of us.
Awesome.
Great, I need to brush up on which things get a motion and which things get a second.
I do have some other questions.
Yeah, of
Where do we stand with a new member? And with, I know Shayla was gonna check into whether Wilmer wants to become a regular member or remain a alternate.
I think he wanted to become a regular.
Yes, he wants to become a regular. Aaron is looped in. Aaron's the HR person. And it's been advertised, I think for a little while. I don't know if applications have been
We
received.
don't know, because I thought this is the meeting where we're supposed to elect a new chair and vice chair. I nominate Hannah to be the new chair.
I don't have the bandwidth actually to chair. I can stay as vice chair, but I don't have the bandwidth, so I don't know if Shayla wanted to continue chairing or if she was ready to hand it off or if someone else is interested in chairing.
Shall we push it to the next meeting just to get?
No.
Yeah,
Let's-
let's wait then.
How long has Shayla been chair? Has she been?
Shayla, 2 years.
Yeah.
We've been doing
it's
2-year
the
things.
co-chair.
Yeah,
But then she was co-chair before that,
okay.
so.
Yes,
I like moving people through those roles because it shares the work and it keeps new. We tend to fall into a rut sometimes of not in a bad way, but we're. Go a certain way and sometimes somebody's differences
Well, it's good for the individuals.
mix things up and it's good for us as people, yes.
I appreciate the nomination.
So the normal thing would be for a vice chair to move in
move
that
up.
role and somebody else to.
And if-
I came prepared to beat him to the punch, so.
If it makes more sense for someone else to move into vice chair also, I just don't have the bandwidth to chair.
I respect that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I resent that too, but I think you're right. If you feel that regret.
Do we have any other things we want to discuss before we adjourn the meeting? Officially, meeting is officially adjourned.
8:19.
Well done. Thank you.
I think you should be chair because we got out early.
Melinda,